Did the scribe Afroo Oonoo write Bible interpretations and explanations? Did the scribe Afroo Oonoo write the Bible interpretations and explanations? Okay. The author of Bible interpretations and explanations is Amanubi Rakafata. Okay. As I asked before, what was the reason for the name change from Amanubi Rakafata to Afroo Oonoo? What was the reason for the change of the science from Nuwapu to Noon? Okay. You find Nupu and Nuwapu, but you don't find Nupu in Noon. Do you dig me? Okay, so this is the Introductions to the Nature of Nature, Book 3. And by using this book, I'm going to show you that Afroo Oonoo isn't the scribe of Bible interpretations and explanations, which came out in 1967. Okay. First, let's go to book 1. Okay. This is book 1. All right. Written by Afroo Oonoo. And let's see if he has a date in here. All right, there's the date, right? 1993. Okay. Now, we know Doc was writing way before this, and you got to go into his scrolls, whether he was Ansar Allah, Nubian Islamic Hebrews, HTM, and all these schools of teachings. He left clues to who we really are, right? Let's go to book 2. So this is book 1, 1993. Listen to reason. Book 2. Let's scroll. Book 2, written by Afroo Oonoo. Let's get a date. 1995. So this book came 2 years after his, well, really a second book, because you got to think about Moonset and Sunrise. But as far as his series is concerned, 2 years after the first book, the first publication, 1995. All right, so this is book 2 by Afroo Oonoo. Let's go to book 3. We're back to book 3. When do you think this book came out? This book came out 12 to 13 years later. Okay, so the scribe Afroo Oonoo passed away in 2011, which nobody knew this, right? But here's what's interesting about the time date on this book. It's 2007. Okay. Now, I put a lot of people on Bible interpretations, people that are using these books, Bible interpretations and explanations. Okay. And these books came out or was able to be downloaded in about 2004. At least that's when I got my download. The books came from a site put out by a brother by the name of Anova Nupu. Okay. I can't think of the rap group name, but Grim Reaper, the RZA, what's the Fruquan, whatever that rap group is, the brother that passed away, Grim Reaper, is the brother of A Nova Nupu, who set up the website for you to download Bible interpretations and explanations and the 9 Ball Liberation Series in about 2004. The website was called All Eyes on Egypt. Okay. If nobody is speaking about this website, All Eyes on no, not All Eyes on Egypt, I'm sorry. Get From Behind the 9 Ball. This was the name of the site. Get From Behind the 9 Ball. If nobody is talking about this site, then they didn't get their books from this site. They didn't download these books from this site. That means the books was given to them from someone else, right? So the 9 Ball Nuwapian books, Nuwapu books, and Bible Interpretations, which is the Nuwapu book, came out in 2004. Okay. This came out, book 3, in 2007, 3 years later. Okay. Afroo Oonoo passes away, rest in power, 4 years later. Okay, so I don't think that he actually completed his book. I think his wife, along with his daughter or sons, completed this book, right? But we're going to simply go into this book. Okay, what's great about how these PDFs are set up, you can search them in the PDF file, right? So we're going to put in Bible, okay? And I had to recall, because I was like, I know there's talks about the Bible interpretations and explanations in one of these books. I always thought it was book 2, but it's actually book 3, okay? So you hit that, right? The first thing that pops up is the clue we need, okay? So I'm going to read, moreover, NOONE, the Ethiopian race science of all the worlds, are more in the nature of the black race than any other human race, because the Ethiopian race, the black race, the African race, is the original race of all the universes, like NOONE is the original science of all the universes of absolute infinite nature. Okay, this cannot be true. If Afroo Oonoo wrote Bible interpretations and explanations under Nuwapu, okay, then he's using this science as if Nuwapu was never even heard of. He's using NOONE like Nuwapu was never even heard of, and that's questionable if he wrote the original 9 science books. Why did he change from Nuwapu to NOONE, from Amanubi Rekafata to Afroo Oonoo? They will not be able to give you an answer, okay? Another extremely important reason for the presentation of this book 3 is the Bible interpretations and explanations topic. It's a topic found in the latter part of this book for the purpose of correct information, which is knowledge, okay? Nuwapu is sound right reasoning, okay? Afroo Oonoo applied that to Nupu, right? But why is it just a topic and not being told that you need to read the book, okay? Or this is a precursor to understanding the introductions to the nature of nature, right? The King James Version is used for the interpretations because it seems to be the most popular version of the Caucasian Bible among members of the Ethiopian race in the United States. Okay, now if you scroll through the books, for those who have these scrolls, do you get to Bible interpretations and explanations? You don't. It's not even added. Okay, and this is being told to you in the beginning of the book. So let's click through. Okay. So we don't have it. We don't have it. So what is supposed to be in book 3, and what is the book Bible interpretations and explanations? Let's check it out, because I got it. I had it since 2004. I passed it around. We got to deal with correct information for those who deal with NOONE Science. So here's the book right here, Bible Interpretation and Explanations, Booklet 1, which is not in book 3 of the Introduction to the Nature of Nature by Afroo Oonoo, but is indeed mentioned. Okay, so when was this written? 1967. By whom? Amin Nubi Raka Fatah. You see that? You cannot deny these facts. You can try to explain the position, but you can't. Okay? But not only is there a book 1, right? There's a book 2. I can't deal with perpetrators, man. Those who wasn't there in the beginning but act like they were. They wasn't there in the beginning, okay? And in the beginning, they were studying under Dr. York, right? Keep it real with the facts or get punched in the face. Booklet 2, by who? Aminubi Rekafata, 1968. This book is not even mentioned until 2007. So how can the original author of this book not even have his own copy? Okay? For the purpose of bringing sound right reasoning and waking up the mental dead. How does he not have his own scroll? So the question is, why isn't the scroll Bible Interpretations and Explanations in book 3? Now, if it would have been in book 3, if it would have been added, okay, that would have been a little bit more weight on your side in regards to Afroo Oonoo being Aminubi Rekafata, and he wrote the Bible Interpretations and Explanations, and all these books are attributed to him. They are not. Afroo Oonoo is a student of Aminubi Rekafata. Right? And if he was always about NOONE Science, then he never would have used Nuwapu. Okay? So let's read this paragraph dealing with Armageddon, okay, and the showdown between right and wrong. Nuwapu is justice, freedom, equality, uncompromising facts. Uncompromising facts. And survival for Ethiopians who accepted in the United States of America and everywhere else by help of the forces of nature. Okay? Y'all familiar with the group Jungle Brothers from back in the day, down by the forces of nature? This is when the information, this is when the Nuwapu was being transmitted through the speakers for your mind and memory drill. This is the reason why they changed the cosmic hip hop into devil rap, Leviathan rap, right? In conclusion, one of the most deceptive and best kept secrets of all time is that Leviathan, Exodus 3rd chapter, 2nd verse, Exodus 4th chapter, 3rd verse, Numbers 21st chapter, 6th through 9th verses, St. Matthew 3rd chapter, 11th verse, is God and the devil. Leviathan is God and the devil who deceive and use the Negro as a football, hoodwinking and kicking him and her from one place to another and shifting him and her from one belief, ignorance from one belief. Okay, don't make me get back on you, dude. right? Leviathan got you possessed. Leviathan got a many people possessed. But see, they not transitioning over into the spirit. Okay? We know we're in a spiritual war, been in war for the past 6,000 years. So shifting him and her from one belief ignorance, like you decide to follow a white man with a bald head, to another. And this means that neither God nor the devil is for the Negro. Okay? You can't say Grand Kush ain't standing on his business, right? When I introduced or reintroduced or reminded, made those who fell off remember, go back to the original scrolls. Nevertheless, there are the original and primary powers that existed on earth before Noah and are found in Nuwapu. Before Noah is Nupu. Where's Noon? Why do we need Noon? Okay. Afroo Oonoo said you got to spell Nupu in odd letters. 357. Nupu on these scrolls is spelled in even letters. 4. These are the powers and forces of liberation. And 9 Ball is the liberation series. So how can NOONE Science be the powers and forces of liberation? I'm not saying there's not no good information in the introductions to the nature to be read. But what's the purpose of dealing with NOONE Science when Nuwapu is all that there is? These are the powers and forces of liberation for the woolly-haired Ethiopians everywhere, and will enable us to succeed in nationhood called Ethiopian nationalism, where we need it, and in the united form we need it. So Nuwapu and Nupu, in this sense, and how it's being used, is not only a science; it's the primary positive forces in nature. Nuwapu. If any Negro, male or female, can read and study the booklets called Bible Interpretations and Explanations and still have the same old negative mind and the same old negative spirit that makes a person a Negro and keeps a person a Negro, that individual is incapable of being resurrected from the mental dead and is definitely detrimental to the cause of Ethiopian progress and well-being, because that person is indeed on the side of the enemy of Ethiopian liberty, equality, justice, and Ethiopian nationalism. How come this book wasn't in book 3? I really just broke you down. Uh-oh. This is book 2. Let's see what NOONE Science is talking about. Nuwapu is the best knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. I don't care what nobody says. This is the original brick. I don't care how many people say they talking for the master teacher and we changed it this and we changed it this. None of them were on these scrolls. Okay, they stuck on Dick riding Dr. York. Dr. York is the master teacher. You're supposed to learn under him and do the great works, not idol worship, like a lot of y'all fools did. Okay? You wanted to hold his hand instead of being in your house with the scrolls. I've debated many when it comes down to these scrolls. I sat with some of the greatest teachers when it comes down to Nuwapu. I'm international with mine. Okay? Some of these pretenders, right? I don't care how many signs and symbols you create for yourself. These pretenders, man, they didn't go out and debate. They didn't go out and propagate. They didn't stand in the faces of real mankind races and debate them. They've been on the internet right? They've been on the internet and still with the information, they not making no moves because Nuwapu is not in them. Nupu is not in them. Let's read this last paragraph. All right. Nuwapu is the best knowledge, wisdom, and understanding. Nuwapu is the Ethiopian's equalizer anywhere and anytime. And it will be disclosed when the minds of all woolly-haired people with the ability to identify themselves with nine ether have been qualified. Okay. Now, based on all the information that is coming out, the only other name for Nuwapu is Nupu, right? The booklets called Bible Interpretations and Explanations are sufficient to qualify with if accepted and diligently studied as well as read. These booklets are dedicated and designed to separate the wheat from the tare, separate those who can make it from those who cannot make it, those who are not flexible enough to reform and conform to right knowledge through sound right reason, which is Nuwapu, will not survive Armageddon, the showdown between right and wrong. This is 1968. Okay. Book 3. Another extremely important reason for the presentation of this book 3 is the Bible interpretations and explanations topic found in the latter part of this book. I put in interpretations just to see if we can go down to the bottom of the book and get the Bible interpretations and explanations, but this is the only time Bible interpretation and explanations is mentioned from Afroo Oonoo is in book 3. And so Afroo Oonoo respectfully cannot be the original writer of sound right reason. Right? Okay. And Ripu, Jipu, and Sipu is not Wu Nupu, Naba Nupu, and Aza Nupu. Based on the dates, Afroo Oonoo as a writer came later. He came later on. Okay? Are you searching for knowledge? Then read me. Okay? Moonset and Sunrise and the Nature of Nature. This is Afroo Oonoo's first book. Let's see if there's a date on this. The presentation written by Afroo Oonoo. 1993. Let's see if we can search this book. I don't know if this is searchable. All right, I put in Bible, nothing happened, so it is searchable. Right? So I put in Bible again. And it's not even, Bible interpretations and explanations is not even written or mentioned in his first scroll. All right, y'all need to stop playing. Okay. Using Chat GPT to break down the 9 ball is whack. Okay, because that's not your brain reasoning. So the information that's going to come out of Chat GPT in relation to the information you give it is information you would have never thought of. Okay. you niggas is cheaters because you can't use your own brain because you're not touched by the positive forces in nature. Why did he change all of this from Nuwapu? They'll have no answer for you. Okay? They'll have no answer for you. But no doubt, this is not a deterrence from the books of Afroo Oonoo. This is all NOONE Science. It all goes together. Okay? But your mind got to put information in order. Otherwise, you leading people all over the place. Okay? And the only reason why this conversation is coming up like this is because some of these fools are trying to get shine for themselves when they don't have that shine in life. Okay? You can't shine in the mind only and not in the physical. Okay? You can't be doing sinful things in the physical, weirdo things in the physical, and expect to get some type of clout or to expect to be on a higher position or in a higher position when dealing with this information. Okay? You can't be a simp in life and think because you do a live chat, right? And then you're trying to speak and express the information, but you're a simp. You can't get no clout for that. You can't get no status. You can't get no publicity for that because you're a perpetrator. You know me as always, Grand Kush, one-man army, man, against all the rejects. 6 ether eradicator when it comes down to this knowledge. When it comes down to this NOONE Science. Okay? I'm standing behind mine like a G because this information, this is my religion. I ain't talking about introduction to the nature of nature. Bible interpretations and explanations is for liberators. It's not for perpetrators. It's for revolutionaries. Okay? 9 ball count 1. Okay? Show your original 9 ball with the signature on it. Right? 1971. Okay? 9 reason. It doesn't talk about Nupu or Noon Science. 9 knowledge. 9 liberation. 9 ether. Okay? Purpose of religion. Introduction to 6. Alien education. How to economize. 6 ether. Breakdown. Right? Okay? So how do you apply this to Noon Science? How do you apply this to Noon Science? How you ask Chat GPT to look up what melanin is when it's right here? Okay? When it's right here. But see, you don't think like that. You didn't go to think about the chemical formula when these sun heat genes was talked about. And if you was following Doc properly, Doc is the one that gave the elements to melanin. He gave the elements to melanin. Nobody caught that and went the scientific route. Niggas went the Anunnaki route. These is black guys though. Okay? What are the black guys composed of? What make them life? What makes them life and not death? In a sense of creation and manifestation. Carbon, hydrogen, oxygen, and nitrogen coming out of the sun. You ask Chat GPT that? You're an idiot. Okay? Because none of this is talking about artificial intelligence. Artificial intelligence is the beast. Okay? It's the fucking three ether horde. It's going to tell you what you need to know, but it's going to keep you dumb, deaf, and blind in the sense that you can get stuck and just asking this artificial intelligence questions. So when you was asking questions before artificial intelligence, where was you getting your answers from? And now y'all want to go against the organic intelligence, the organic mind for artificial intelligence, for artificial intelligence to tell you who you are for the sake of getting one more view, 3 or 4 or 6 likes. This is the Melaninite children from the early 90s. All right. If you was following the scroll, here's a breakdown on melanin right here. All you had, maybe you don't have this scroll though. All you had to do was go search this right here. Okay. Darker skins are dominated by melanin, which is produced from the amino acid tyrosine. If you're not mentioning this, like you mentioned MC1R with you melanin, if you're not mentioning this tyrosine, then you don't know what you're talking about. If you're not mentioning tyrosinase, you don't know what you're talking about. Okay? You see this tyrosine, dopaquinone, and melanin. This is correct information. All right, this is the Garden of Eden, and I'm going to leave it right here as far as the facts. What name is being used on this book? Okay. This is before the introductions to the nature of nature were out or possibly even written. Why did he change the name? It's not the same as on the Bible interpretations. He can change his name however he wants to. Okay. But Afroo Oonoo does not use this name at all. With that being said, this is Green Kush. I'm out. Y'all hold it down. Stay great. Nine Mind.